Good evening, YouTube. We have the Umarex or Umarex, however you want to pronounce it. The Primax, 22 caliber, PAL rated. What the hell is a PAL? Well, if you live in Canada, you know it's possession acquisition license, and it's what we need to buy unrestricted rifles and unrestricted shotguns. If you're in the US, of course, you guys got a whole different ball of wax. Anyways, so this thing is the legendary 1,000 feet per second with an alloy pellet, or 900 with lead. And precision 4x32 scope. I literally almost exploded a lung and had a stroke when I read that because I laughed that hard. I'm just kidding. Not far off though. Nitrogen piston in this one, so as far as winter shooting goes, should be definitely a lot more stable than Springers are, because they're usually all over the place, erratic speeds, and they're kind of a little crunchy in the winter. These usually much better. I've had a few nitro guns, mainly non-PAL stuff, because well, back then I didn't have a PAL. Now I do, so now I have regular firearms, and I'm getting some air guns going again. Okay, not too many air guns though. Don't be counting on me a ton of videos here, not unless you're going to buy them for me and send them to me. Then I'm okay, but otherwise, hey, I need to save some money for some more bullets because I'm running low. Anyway, but so according to the box here, an 11.9 grain pellet should yield us 19.5 foot-pounds of energy with a lead pellet, and at 4.5 grains, that's what we get for the speed. But as far as the energy goes, well, they didn't list that, but I can tell you right now, if this thing actually did do literally 1,000 feet per second with a 4.5 grain alloy pellet, because there's no lead pellets that light, then you would actually get 9.99 foot-pounds of energy at 1,000 feet per second with 4.5 grains. Even I don't have anything that light. I'm close. I got 5.7. But anyways, 11.9, that's a pretty odd number. I've never honestly even heard of 11.9 grain. 11, yes, but 11.9, no. So, kind of thinking, no, we're not going to be able to do 11.9, but we'll see what we can do to get close to that anyway. Now, I won't be doing any chronograph stuff tomorrow at the range. I got to get this thing sighted in, figure out what it likes. I've got a few different choices of pellets to choose from, and what I'm really hoping for is that it really adores Predator polymags, that or the Hades, because yeah, those pellets worked spectacular in my custom 2240 that I built, as well as in my QB78 that I used to have. But I don't have the 2240 anymore. I traded it for a Rossi 22x410 regular firearm to a buddy of mine. So, but anyway, we shall continue on. Now, as far as the rest goes, it does have a two-stage trigger. That I can actually tell you is true and verifiable. But as far as the safety goes, it is a manual safety, but some people had thought, well, it seems to automatically cock itself into the safety when you cock it. We'll see if that actually works, because I don't think so, but I guess we'll find out. Umarex has said in their own video, which they've committed the most heinous act of fraud to everybody, and because it's still on their channel, they actually say this thing and the 177 Primax have adjustable triggers. And I can tell you right now, they do not have adjustable triggers. In fact, even on the forums, this has been a discussion, and it doesn't. And I can tell if it does, because it would have a grub screw somewhere to adjust, and there's none of that. There's this big screw, and that holds the back of the action in, and these two up here for the front. So that's it. Anyways, and the scope ain't no high precision. It's very basic. It's a very inexpensive scope, but from what I've seen on YouTube videos, it actually works and holds zero. So, well, that's good, because, well, Kevy can't afford to go out and get a real scope right now. So, and besides, we want to see how good the gun shoots before I decide, you know, because I may just keep the scope. If the scope works perfect, I don't even care at this point anymore. I would rather invest money into a regular firearm for a really good scope than this. But if I have to invest, then I have to invest. And there are a lot of options out there that are inexpensive but way better than this probably, especially for the fact that this is only a fixed 4x zoom. So it's only going to be good at 25 yards, and we're probably going to be pushing our luck even to 50. But I did see a guy attempt it at 70, and he's like, this scope is no good for 70 yards. But I do have a bit of a confession to make though, and that is I broke all my own rules on this gun. Before buying it, I did not, under any way, shape, or form, investigate this gun whatsoever anywhere on the internet, including YouTube. Nothing. So I went into this completely blind. But I saw this on Ole Armoury's website. Now, they're just up the street for me, about a 3-minute drive if you drive like a bit of a maniac. 5 minutes if you're a human. I'm kind of in between right now. So probably about 3.5 minutes for me. But anyway, it was $160, and I've been looking for another rifle, preferably non-PAL though, because that I can shoot in my front yard and it's not an issue, but PAL rated is. So yeah, we're going to be at the range with this. But that's okay, because I can still take this out small game hunting when I go hunting. It's not a big issue, right? And it's got plenty of power to take down anything small game wise, which is kind of better than a non-PAL gun actually, but non-PAL guns, they can take out a lot of small game, so it's not a big deal. So it kind of becomes an optional choice at that point. But at that, it does have a scope stop, okay? But before I do talk more about this, I would like to mention that I'm doing this because I wanted to go blind for a change. I've never bought a gun before, since being a YouTuber at least, going in blind, okay? Other than a couple that I brought in for inventory, but on the advice of my supplier, these are really great sellers, they're really good guns, and this and that. And, you know, hey, when you're selling guns for a living at one point like I was, and modifying for people, and of course my own little dress-up goodies and whatnot, I mean, seriously, I mean, I had a business and that's what I did. I sold and dressed up and customized guns for people because I had a machine shop too and been a machinist for many years. But when I left North Bay to move to the country, I gave up on all that stuff. We weren't sure where we were going to be moving to, and you know, to move a complete machine shop like that, even my shed, I didn't know. And it was kind of like, man, I wish, you know, because then I would have kept all that stuff and I'd be still raking in big bucks. But yeah, wish I had a machine shop again, because even just a lathe and I could make a ton of money. But that's life. Anyhow. Getting back to this, the other thing I'm also doing, I don't know if you call this a confession or not, but well, I guess so, it's part of it. I have not touched the adjusters on this scope. So I've not, in other words, I have not messed with them in any way, shape, or form, which means I've not even attempted to bore sight this thing even to get it on paper, because we usually bore sight. So this is just whatever factory zeroing they did with this scope. And that's it. So I want to see if it actually hits paper. I have a curiosity mind that needs to know stuff, okay? And when I need to know something, I investigate thoroughly, okay? And I think outside the box. I actually tear it up and destroy it and rebuild it, and you know what I mean, okay? So I'm kind of that kind of guy. And that's something I've also never done before, ever, like literally never. And so I figured, well, now's a good time to try something and see if it actually does do any good, or if it was a stupid idea. Because if it was a dumb idea, well, it's going to cost me a few pellets to get this thing on paper, because I'm going to have to figure out where the hell it's hitting first. But anyway, it is a dovetailed grooved receiver, so yeah, that's the end of my disclosure on that one. Dovetailed, so 11mm 3/8. It comes with scope rings and the scope, obviously. Open sights if you don't like scopes. Or if you blow up the scope somehow, well, at least you got a backup. You got iron sights, and they're fiber optic, yellow in the back, or green, whatever you want to call that, and red up front, and they're fine. So I went into the store anyways to look at this, because I did enough him and hawing on the website, and I still did research, and I still couldn't find anything comparable to this for the same money. And I thought, well, it's not that I was looking for a PAL rated one, but what the hell? And I've had Umarex Air Javelin, a couple of Umarex pistols, and other products from Umarex. I've never had any problems. So I figured, well, let's give the gun a try. And anyways, any of the videos I've seen, people are really liking this thing. And it does do a really nice job, even with Hades pellets. And I have some at the weight that another YouTuber was actually using. So it should be interesting to see how well these group in this gun compared to his. But anyhow, So I picked up the gun with no scope obviously on it because they don't mount that stuff in the store, but I was like, man, this is pretty stable. It's comfy. I can go to, I get a really nice grip. So when you just, you know, tuck that in and everything to get ready for fire, this thing is going to be very, very stable in the hands, I'm thinking. We're going to find out more about that tomorrow. But I decided to get it, and here it is. So do stay tuned for a lot of videos because we've got to milk this thing for all it's worth for videos. And so we will be doing chronograph result stuff. We're going to definitely be, you know, shooting some targets, standing up, bag resting, you know, just see how badly I'm going to suck with the recoil that comes out of this thing because, you know, nitro piston, it's a lot less than a Springer would be for the same power level, but it's still going to have some recoil. And I already know it's going to be a bugger hole to friggin' cock this thing because, well, it is power rated, so it's pretty good, powerful piston in there to try and... But, hey, you know what? You build up some muscle. Makes a man out of you. You know, put some hair in your chest. If you're a woman, well, I don't know what it does for you guys, but, you know. Anyhow, so I got to get this thing packed up, but I wanted to touch base with you guys and, you know, I think the gun, you know, it does look really good, and I do really like the really thick, hard plastic stock here. Well, I don't know if it's hard, but it's got a bit of flex, so, but it's very thick. So, Crosman, you could take a lesson from Umarex, and Gamma, you as well, because both of those companies can't make stocks properly for synthetics, in my opinion, but it's only my opinion. What do I know? I've only been shooting air guns for almost 50 years, right? But, and fixing the friggin' things, among other things. But anyway, can't really put a bipod on this thing that easily, although I've done that before, but it brings the bipod up really close here, and I don't think I'm going to bother with that on this, because I want full access without banging my hand into a friggin' pin. So I think I'm going to just bag shoot this thing for plinking with and sighting in, and then of course stand up shoot the rest of it, or sit down and shoot, or whatever. And if I want to go prone with it, I'll just grab some sandy bags and away we go, you know, or something to rest the gun on properly. But I do like it so far. Tomorrow will be the first official day of firing it. I've already cleaned the barrel. I've already lubed the O-ring and whatever else I needed to, which was nothing. The only thing it needed was a bit of lube after cleaning the barrel, so I just lubed the O-ring a bit. I'm actually using Crosman chamber lube. Well, they call it silicone chamber oil. They do recommend an RWS brand, but who doesn't? You know, the Crosman chamber silicone, that's what you need. And just for the moving parts, the linkages and whatnot. You know, you pop about 3 drops every 1,000 rounds down the tube here with the gun, you know, at least partially cocked so you can get in there, and let her sit for a bit and soak in. So gently bring the barrel up so it doesn't go and piss out on you. And then it'll soak in, so just, you know, stand it up in the corner or something for like an hour, and it'll work its way through, and then you're good for another 1,000 rounds before you gotta relube any of that. So it's gonna take a while to hit 1,000 rounds, you know, even for me. I like shooting guns, but I have a few things I have to get done at the range tomorrow. But the next time we go out, I do plan on bringing my chronograph the next time out after tomorrow, and we're gonna chrony this thing with different pellet weights, and then we can figure out, you know, our speeds, and then from there our weight ratios of what kind of energy we're actually putting out. So we'll write all those numbers out, and then when we get home we'll do like the end clip of that video, going over the weights and the speeds and what they were on average and what kind of energy output we're getting, and also see how close it is to those numbers. But in the meantime though, guys, thanks so much for watching and staying tuned. Hope you enjoyed this part, because hey, wait for the rest of the videos, including our review video down the road when we get that done. And we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.